Hello, class of cannabis. It's been a glorious year. I want someone in here to stand to their feet and tell me their best way to smoke. Who will it be? You right here. What's your name, girl?
Not him. It don't really matter when we all agree. What's your best way to smoke? Cause I'm rolling it up. Smoke like I ain't had enough.
Yo, what's up? This BigJ310
Sirpo Junior.
Best Way to Smoke. We in the house, and we've been talking to you guys about the propositions, different propositions. So we coming at you guys today with Proposition 21, 24, and 25. We're gonna talk a little bit about them, and then at the end of our conversation, we're gonna show this video. It's with every proposition explained in 1 minute. Each one is explained in about 1 minute, so you'll be able to get a better understanding. Because the vote, it's almost time. November 3rd is right around the corner. It's about to be here.
4 days, 4.5 days.
Yep. So it's almost that time to get out there and make it happen. Crack it off talking about Proposition 21. No, but look though, real quick. No, I seen something and I didn't read it. That's why I just went the other way on you. You know what I'm saying?
But then again, at the end, depending on actions by local communities, revenue losses could be less or more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who's losing?
It could go either way. That shit
It doesn't matter. Like, come on, let's go.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Look at that nigga said, wait, hold on. Yeah, this is what I was looking at right here. Was it this one? Facts on 21.
Yeah, you making it more convenient, you know what I'm saying, for people to get into homes. If you have a steady place to live, you know what I'm saying, it's like that's a
okay, wait, hold on. Let's say, wait, hold on real quick. This shit 30 seconds. Hold on.
As a nurse, I see the devastating health impact of COVID firsthand. And as a renter, I'm worried about my own future too. That's why Prop 21 is scary. Prop 21 will force rentals off the market. It has no plan to build affordable housing. And 21 allows landlords to raise rents on the lowest income Californians by more than 15%, while doing nothing to prevent evictions. Let's not make a scary situation worse. No on Prop 21.
Let me see, play that one more time.
Oh.
As a nurse, I see the devastating health impact of COVID firsthand.
It
and
eliminates
as a renter, I'm worried about my own future too.
Well,
that's why Prop 21 is scary. Prop 21 will force rentals off the market. It has no plan to build affordable housing. And 21 allows landlords to raise rents on the lowest income Californians by more than 15%, while doing nothing to prevent evictions. Let's not make a scary situation worse. No on Prop 21.
Now watch this.
Hold on before you start. So say no on it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I have this property. Say, bam, you move into my property.
So if somebody move out paying 15 and the market value in that area is 18, they can raise it to 18 for the next new tenant that's moving in.
So, and wouldn't that's part of the job, you know what I'm saying? If I'm a homeowner or apartment owner, I gotta make my bread.
Right, you gotta get your money and get
You
it
know
to
what I'm
market value. So
yes,
you gotta see, how do you look at it? What do you feel about it?
and tell me if the market rate goes down. If you was paying the 800, but this market rate goes down, it's not worth your 800 now.
Or the
You know what I'm
15.
saying? Or the 15. Say it was 1500.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It went down. It's not worth the 1500 now.
They
You know
will
what I'm
probably
saying? Now,
keep it the same.
okay, you as a renter are now losing now. You paying something that's not worth what it's worth.
But even none of this, listen, none of that will like even matter. It won't. It's like so many loopholes in that shit to where that part of it is hidden behind a curtain because it's not even exposed.
So pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like when they talk about the pros of the shit, you know what I'm saying, like the pros, it will tackle homelessness, You know what I'm saying? And it's like a strong correlation of elected leaders. With that, the strong correlation meaning it's like motherfuckers.
Who are they though?
Whoever these elected leaders are. You know what I'm saying? They already
Who
elected
them?
there.
You feel me? Like who are
the
they?
People. You
What's their
it's
motive?
the seniors, the veterans, the seniors.
Oh. So it's your decision. It's an interesting prop. But if your decision is to say yes,
that's cool because it's like, you know what I'm saying? I haven't fell victim to that though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like once everything like started to like roll and get into place, you know what I'm saying? The motherfucker actually started to buy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That shit like stayed the same. I haven't like fell victim like I wake up next month now and I gotta pay so and so.
Yeah.
Because the market value go up.
Yeah. I fell victim to it on the other hand. You know what I'm saying?
So, you know what I'm saying? If it's like that now, would you want it to be like a little bit stricter than what it is? Yes.
I vote no. No, keep it the same. Yes changes things. It gives the government. Yes basically gives the government more power. The government and all them other officials more power. The elected officials that might be dirty, might be crooked, they might want to close. They might want to make you.
You don't own my home.
Man, they make motherfuckers sell their property and shit for city different little cause that shit is deep. That shit is deep though. So if you give it instead of having the power where it's at now, or having the certain protections that they have now and certain ones that they don't, that's the little twist to it though. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would rather it stay the same than to give power to them. And then like for homelessness, it's not going they not guaranteed to build more public housing and shit like that. It's not a guarantee that they have to do that.
Ballot, because why the pros is keeping families in their home.
Because it's a twist the way they do it. The way they do this shit on some of that shit that they want to.
Because it costs jobs and eliminate homeowners' protections.
Yeah.
So if the homeowner don't have no protection, like what am I owning the home for? I bought this home, you know what I'm saying? If I don't have no home ownership, you know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me the government can come take this from me with the no home ownership protection?
That's what a yes.
That's what a no.
Yeah, let me see this shit going on. Let me see this shit.
Nigga, that's what a no like a motherfucker. Hey, right here. You want me to brighten it for you?
See, look though. This is just the pros and cons. This don't mean no.
The cons of it, yes, nigga.
No.
Why do they do the pros and cons? To figure out the good and the bad of it.
Right. That don't mean yes or no though.
I understand it don't mean yes or no.
So this don't look. This is remember what 16.
Go up to yes.
Go
up to what it says with yes. See what a yes vote means and what a no vote means.
Right. State laws will allow cities and counties to apply more kinds of rent controls to more properties under the new law.
And then what the no vote? What it says under no?
Listen. A rent control don't necessarily mean that it's good for the Don't necessarily mean that it's good for the
renter.
The renter. You know what I'm saying? It don't necessarily mean that it's good. That's what I'm saying. Nigga, you was talking about the wordplay the other day. The words though, cause it's how they say
it's like I'm not looking at it like as from a renter's standpoint.
And look, this is what's fucking up your argument on some real shit. Because this don't mean yes or no. It's just explaining the pros and cons. Because this pro might make you want to vote no. This con might make you want to vote yes. Or no or whatever. It might make you want to vote either one. The pro and the con is just the argument to.
So what's the current law that they have right now? What's the current limitations right now?
A no vote on the measure means state laws will maintain current limits on rent control.
And what is the current limit?
So I don't know what the current limits is, and I don't know if it's on there.
See that we have to look it up. We're coming back to this. Because they're stating it's either going to stay the same are they gonna make it stricter?
Right, and they have certain limits on it that right now already in certain cities and stuff like that. Every city has their own limits on it. Some cities have rent control, strict rent control. Some cities don't. You know what I mean? So we just got to do some more research to figure out what the limits are right now. You know, what the specific limits are right now, so we can have a better understanding of the of Proposition 21.
And this is throughout California. So, you know what I'm saying? Remember it's being said, you know what I'm saying? Sirpo Junior already stated on here that, like, I'm a yes on it.
And I'm a no. BigJ is no.
So after this little small little research moment, you know what I'm saying, that we're going to see if things change. You know what I'm saying? So, but as of right now, to my understanding, you know what I'm saying, I'm voting, I got a yes on this one. And then moving on to the next one. The 24?
24.
24. It amends consumer privacy laws.
Yep.
So a yes vote on this measure means existing consumer data privacy laws and rights will be expanded. Businesses required to meet privacy requirements will change. A new state agency and the state's Department of Justice will share responsibility for overseeing and enforcing state consumer privacy laws.
Right.
So what I'm getting from there is like, when you get on these little social media sites, or I will even say, you know what I'm saying, the little app-based things on your phone. Some apps you'll download on your phone, it'll say able to use phone files and data, you know what I'm saying, for research on such whatever game that you're playing.
Right.
So with that saying that if you hit the agree button, you know what I'm saying, whatever information that you have in your phone connected to this email, this app is able to use or share.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't want all that to happen.
Yeah, right, because it even gives up privacy, like information on our kids and shit like that too. So we definitely don't want to
for that shit.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to allow that. So, you know, for me, I can say outright that, you know, that's a definite no. You know, because people need some kind of privacy the way it is nowadays. It ain't really no privacy, but you need some privacy. You know
and just how I said with the no, you know what I'm saying, on this. And once again, you know what I'm saying, I'm reading from the California general election, November 3rd, 2020, official voter information guide. So a no vote, you know what I'm saying, what your vote means. A no vote on this measure means businesses will continue to be required to follow existing consumer data privacy laws. Consumers would continue to have existing data privacy rights. The state's Department of Justice will continue to oversee and enforce these laws. So just like BigJ said, you know what I'm saying, a no vote, you know what I'm saying, it'll keep privacy laws, and it seems as if like they will enact a better overseeing of this information.
Right.
So, all right, you know what I'm saying? Today, you know what I'm saying? All right, 1 out of 2, you know what I'm saying? We both agreeing on 1.
Yep.
We got it.
Yep.
No on 24.
No on 24. Because we need some kind of privacy. So we're going to slide on to Prop 25. And basically what Prop 25 is the no cash bail. So a yes vote on Prop 25 would eliminate the cash bail to where it'll be more like based on your character, you know, if you got a job, you know, like what you got going on. Like if you're the type of motherfucker that go to court if you get a ticket, you know what I'm saying? And handle your business and take care of it like that. Them kind of things will come into place in order for you to get out, you know what I mean? Instead of it being a cash bail kind of thing, because everybody don't have the money to put up for bail. That's why it's a lot more people sitting up in jail, because a motherfucker can't bail out. Everybody can't bail out.
So pretty much it's like if you're going off of character, it's like you have to be like how they say, you know what I'm saying, a participating citizen or whatever it may be, like have a job,
Right.
student, whatever it may be. So that may seem as if like, you know what I'm saying, those are like like those type of working personnel, it's rarely that it seems like big things are happening. You know, so those be like infractions, speeding tickets, and things of such like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as far as like robberies, carjacking, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you might as well say it's like you're not gonna be like a working man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a building inspector. You're a welder. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna catch us going out there. Let me post up at this local 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get this food.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's not coming across our mind.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? That we don't fall victim to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to the ones that's out there, how would you determine this person's character? You know what I'm saying? That's like that maybe didn't have the opportunities we had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They have to live on that side of the line. You know what I'm saying? How would you determine that character?
I mean, I think basically they would just have to base it off the information that they can gather from the person.
Psychiatric reviews or whatever?
Maybe that, but I think primarily it'll probably be if they working, if they have a work history. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, did they
graduate
graduate high school? You know what I mean? Did they take college courses or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Just basically, what have they been doing? You know, maybe a person that don't have really no history, or maybe they've been in jail a few times.
So would this roll over to like say like people on probation or parole? You know what I'm saying? Say they have certain incidents to where it's like you just may be, you know what I'm saying, around something that happened, and since you're on parole or probation, boom, you get hit with the Nobel, you know what I'm saying, one or whatever it may be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So would this measure help with those type of situations?
You said if you're on paperwork, right?
Yeah. You know, like if you're on parole probation, you know what I'm saying, you get stopped. You know
Well, I think that's a whole little different get down right there though, because if you on, you know, you get the probation parole holds. You know, when you on.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's like
it all depends. Like, I think it all depends on. That would be dope if.
Look, check this out. Like one time, like before I came to the inspector side, you know what I'm saying, I did the labor work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like there was a time, you know what I'm saying, I was on paperwork, you know what I'm saying, I was on parole.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like this one day I just decided to like I want to ride the trains. Right. And it's like to get to the trains, I was in Long Beach, the east side of Long Beach, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I just want to ride my skateboard up the beach. Right. I'm fresh out. You know what I'm saying? I got my job or whatever. I want to see some things.
Right.
Skateboard to work, I get there, everything is fine. Get off of work, skateboard back. I'm 2 or 3 houses down from my dad's spot. Right. Police pulled me over. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now in my backpack, I have all work tools. I have my certifications and everything of what I do. Right. You know what I'm saying? But these police, you know what I'm saying, they took it as if like my tools can cause bodily harm to anybody. Right. You know what I'm saying? By me being on parole. But I'm like, all right, I'm on parole. My parole officer knows what type of job I have, knows what I do. You can call them. They took me in. I had to stay in there for about 14 days, you know what I'm saying, before they get anything stood with no bail. You know that's how they do it. Yeah. I lost out on my job. You know what I'm saying? I had to get reevaluated on everything to where it's like, all right, if this had applied, you know what I'm saying, if I do want to bail out, you know what I'm saying, so I can continue my work, continue on with my career, whatever it may be, you know what I'm saying, I lost out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in my days, like I was in a situation like this where I got caught up. I was on parole. I got caught up and went to the county. Ended up going to court. I talked to my PO while I was locked up, and got the parole hold lifted to where when I was able to go to court, I was able to get a bail or get an OR. And like by me having a job and having a work history,
it helped out.
They gave me an OR on parole. Got the parole hold lifted, you know what I'm saying? And was able to so that's like a whole different twist because I never had really seen that before, nothing like that before. You know what I'm saying?
It happened to me again. Like now that you say that, it happened to me again with Long Beach Police Department. You know what I'm saying? They said I was doing some stuff and I was on parole. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I was in the county jail again. You know what I'm saying? But during the time I actually called and talking to the parole officer, somebody is reporting to him. You know what I'm saying? At the time I'm on the phone, oh, your parolee, he's you have him right here, he's engaging in this, that, and the other.
Right.
That shit saved me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he hurried up and shut him down. Like, you guys got him inside of jail now, and I'm talking to him, but you saying you have him right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like those situations, I was like totally not in the wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what I'm saying, where's the help for us then? You know what I'm saying? Since you're on parole or whatever it is, you automatically think you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. And you know, man, and hopefully, so you know, we talked about 21, 24, 25. We're gonna play this video after we done that explains every different proposition that's on the ballot to be voted on. So it'll explain them all in a minute. But that brings me to like talking about like with the Cube situation with the contract with Black America, and I read over it, and it's some dope stuff, man. We're gonna talk about that in the upcoming What's on Your Mind.
We in here, so that's our show. Thumb up the video, hit the like button. Sirpo Junior on the platforms.
Yep, Big J. And check us out at www.bestway2smoke.com. Check us out Instagram, Best Way to Smoke, Facebook, Twitter, on all social media platforms. YouTube, check out the YouTube channel. Best Way.
Put it in the air.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Daniel Hernandez.
I'm Melanie Mason.
I'm Jessica Chen, and this is the LA Times Guide
to California's
2020 propositions.
Back in 2004, California voters approved selling bonds for a state government stem cell research program. But that funding has almost run out. Proposition 14 would borrow an additional $5.5 billion to continue stem cell research. There would also be a few more rules for how those research funds are spent. Most of the funds would be spent on either grants for conducting research, trials and programs, or startup costs for facilities. The measure would also subsidize training programs for students studying for careers in stem cell research. $1.5 billion of the bonds would go towards therapies and treatments for brain and nervous system diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. Supporters say funding stem cell research has the potential to help those suffering from chronic disease and injury, and that the measure would improve public oversight over the institute spending those funds. Opponents say stem cell clinics have been underregulated, and California's money would be better spent elsewhere.
Prop 15 is about how much businesses and corporations pay in California property taxes. Since 1978, all property taxes have been based on the purchase price of the property, not its current value. Prop 15 would change that, but only for commercial and industrial properties. The measure would require owners of these properties to pay taxes that more accurately reflect the present-day values. Residential properties like your home would not be affected. That extra tax revenue would go to local government services and schools. The changes would come in phased in over 3 years. Some small businesses would have a longer transition period to the higher taxes. Other business property owners could actually be exempt from the new law. Supporters, including a long list of Democrats in Congress, Joe Biden, the ACLU, and several unions, say major corporations shouldn't get the same tax benefits as homeowners. Opponents say that Prop 15 could discourage companies from setting up shop in California.
California will get a do-over on affirmative action. It's been 24 years since California voters considered whether race, ethnicity, and gender should be considered in awarding government contracts and admission to the state's colleges and universities. Back in 1996, such considerations were outlawed. Proposition 16 would repeal that law, allowing affirmative action to again be widely used in the state. Those in favor say that systemic racism is more prevalent than ever. In the wake of police brutality, social unrest, and generations of racial inequity, they say Prop 16 would once again protect against such discrimination, and it would offer equal opportunities in hiring and education. Those opposed argue that Prop 16 is in itself a form of racism, giving special treatment based on race rather than individual merits, and is a misguided attempt to rectify recent events.
In California, those convicted of felonies aren't allowed to vote until they've completed their parole. Proposition 17 would change that, allowing parolees to vote. This measure was put on the ballot by the state legislature and follows a trend in other states to restore voting rights to those on parole. In California, this measure would affect about 40,000 parolees. Those in favor of Prop 17, including several Democrats in Congress, say parolees are often working, raising families, and paying taxes, so they should be able to vote. Opponents, mostly Republicans and conservative activists, say parolees are still completing their sentences and have yet to regain the trust of society, so they don't deserve the privilege of voting.
If you turned 18 after the March 3rd presidential primary, you missed your chance to pick your favorite candidate for November's election. Proposition 18 would change that. This amendment to the California Constitution would allow 17-year-olds to register and vote in primary elections, as long as they turn 18 by the general election in November. Supporters say more young voters will get engaged with issues and come out to vote if they can participate in the full election cycle, including those primaries that are held earlier in the year. Those opposed say that 17-year-olds are still considered children and are under the strong influence of their parents and teachers, which means it's less likely that they would express their own choices in voting. Proposition 18 was introduced by the California State Legislature and would be considered a constitutional amendment. At least 18 other states already have similar laws on the books.
When you move to a new home, you have to pay property taxes based on how much you paid for that home. But some older Californians who might like to move to a new home can't because they pay property taxes based on their purchase years ago, which might make it extra expensive for them to move. Proposition 19 would change that. It would allow any Californians aged 55 and older to buy a new home and pay a reduced property tax based on what they paid for the previous home. The measure also extends the property tax break to severely disabled homeowners and those who lose their homes in a wildfire. Prop 19 also cracks down on low property taxes when a parent gives their home to a child. It would require that the child actually live in the house, not just use it as a rental or a second home, to keep that low property tax payment. If Prop 19 passes, local governments could gain tens of millions of dollars of property tax revenue per year. Most of the resulting revenues would go toward local firefighting efforts.
In the last 6 years, Californians have voted twice to reduce the punishment for crimes like theft and drug crimes. Basically, those some would consider less serious than violent felonies. But there's been a lot of debate about whether reducing the prison population has increased crime. Proposition 20 would undo parts of each of these previous measures. First, it would allow more theft-related crimes to be charged as felonies. Then there's the parole change. Those convicted of certain crimes now considered as nonviolent could not be considered for early parole. It would also expand required DNA testing for some people convicted of theft and domestic violence. And it would create 2 new crimes, serial theft and organized retail theft. Both crimes could result in jail time. Supporters include law enforcement, victims' rights groups, and the Orange County Board of Supervisors. Opponents, like former Governor Jerry Brown and the ACLU, say the measure would extend the harm of our criminal justice system.
Another big issue on the ballot this year is rent control. Since Governor Gavin Newsom signed a new rent control law last year, most California landlords cannot increase rent more than 5% plus inflation each year. But if Prop 21 passes, cities and counties could be allowed to implement even stricter rent control policies. The rules under Prop 21 depend on how old the building is. If it's more than 15 years old, then new rent control could be imposed, but rent could still go up when a new tenant moves in. Now there are exceptions in Prop 21. For example, only some single-family homes would be subject to rent control. Both supporters and opponents say California lacks enough affordable housing, but they disagree on whether Prop 21 is a step in the right direction.
Remember the controversy last year over AB 5 or Assembly Bill 5? The law made it much harder for some companies to treat their workers as independent contractors as opposed to employees. This had a big impact on the gig economy, including companies like Uber and Lyft. Enter Proposition 22. It was put on the ballot thanks to signatures collected by a campaign organized by Uber and Lyft. It would essentially exclude app-based drivers from AB 5, allowing companies to consider them independent contractors. The measure promises some worker benefits, like an hourly wage slightly above the state minimum, a monthly health insurance stipend for some drivers, and new medical and disability benefits if a driver is injured on the job. Opponents say billion-dollar corporations like Uber and Lyft shouldn't be allowed to refuse their workers full-time employee benefits, like Social Security, normal reimbursements for their costs, overtime pay, and the right to organize.
There are 600 kidney dialysis centers in the state that serve more than 80,000 patients a month. To accommodate these patients, the centers stay open long hours and often on weekends. This measure would require at least one physician to remain on site during a dialysis center's operating hours. Prop 23 states that centers must provide the same care for all patients, whether they use Medi-Cal or private insurance. Clinics would be required to report patient infections to the state health department, which would assume a larger role in agreeing to changes to a clinic or its closure. Opponents include just about all of the California healthcare industry, which insists costs will go up. Supporters, mainly a labor union of healthcare workers, say it's quality care that will go up.
Remember all the emails we got from companies at the beginning of the year asking us to agree to their updated privacy policies? Well, Prop 24 would make changes to California's new consumer privacy law. Under Prop 24, consumers would have new rights to limit the sharing of their personal information and to correct inaccurate information. The ballot measure redefines what it means to share data, so that more companies would be subject to California's existing privacy rules. But consumers would still have to opt out of having their data collected and disclosed to advertisers. The measure also increases fines for collecting data from children. But opponents say consumers who choose privacy still might unfairly pay higher prices. For example, those who share data will get special access to discounts. Those in favor say that Californians will still have more control over their information if Prop 24 passes. Those opposed, including the ACLU of California, say the measure doesn't do enough to protect consumer data on social media platforms and when used by big tech.
If you've heard about the issue of cash bail, it's probably because the issue is not a new one. 2 years ago, the state legislature passed a law abolishing it. But before the law could go into effect, companies representing the bail industry gathered enough signatures to call for a referendum, meaning the law is on hold until voters decide to accept or reject it this fall. If Prop 25 does pass, it would eliminate cash bail, which requires suspects to pay a cash bond to be released from jail while waiting for their trial. Instead, suspects awaiting trial would be detained based on new risk assessments, like if a judge thinks they might be a danger to the community. Those in favor of Prop 25, including California's Chief Justice and civil rights groups, say the cash bail system has too often been based on the ability to pay rather than public safety. Those opposed argue that the use of formulas to determine who qualifies for release prior to trial could be problematic.